Hello and welcome back to another video here in the LEGO room. I hope you are well. Today is a very exciting day because it looks as though we know the sets that are coming for January 2026. Yes, it's boiling outside. It's literally so hot here in the UK, and we are finding out what is available in winter 2026. And did a video about this a couple of weeks ago about what we thought would come to fruition based off of the leaks and the rumours that we had at the time. And a lot of those are have come true, and I'm going to go over everything that we know about January 2026 in this video. A lot of it will be validating what was said in the previous video, and we've got some new information as well about sets that we chose to sort of not speak about at the time due to how much information we had about them. Please do drop a like on this video before we dive into it, and if you're new, please do consider subscribing. It'd be sincerely appreciated. Let's dive right into it, starting with the smallest and the cheapest set of the January wave, and this will be set number 75436, which will be a Mando and Grogu speeder bike. This set will come in at $10 US. Don't know whether that'll be £10 here in the UK or if it'll be the $8.99 old Microfighter pricing here in the UK. It'll only have 58 pieces. The chaser with this one for me is the fact that this will appear to have the UCS version of Mando in it, and that is really interesting based on the fact that there'll be a video out within the next 24 hours from this video about the retirement list for LEGO Star Wars in 2025. And in that list, of course, is the UCS Razor Crest. So people that are after it for that UCS Mando. It probably won't be many people. There are a lot of good figures in that set. But it's really interesting that that will be sort of readily available on January 1st when the retirement of the UCS Razor Crest is essentially on December 31st. So very interesting. The cheapest one in the range. I think this will go down fantastic with young fans, with parents. I think for $9.99, whether that's pounds or dollars, I think that's a really good price point. It's obviously price per piece not particularly good, but you're going to get two figures in there for $9.99. And of course, the Microfighter with both these figures in, or Mando and Grogu, was $12.99 here in the UK not that long ago. The next set up is another set that we couldn't quite place in the previous video. It's set number 75448, which is of course a mech. It'll come in at $15 US. It'll come at £13 as it stands here in the UK, and this will be a Shocktrooper Mech. Bit of an interesting choice. Not entirely sure why they've gone for a Shocktrooper. I kind of thought they were going to start to use more obscure characters. They obviously did Vader, Boba Fett, Darth Maul, and Luke Skywalker, the pilot version. I actually thought they were going to start to do some slightly more sort of obscure characters that maybe is required a little bit more. But obviously, I expect this Shocktrooper to be very similar to the Stormtrooper Mech from 2023. This set will have 151 pieces. It's a mech. It's going to be £13. It's sort of just carrying on that mech line. There are some more interesting sets, in my opinion, to get through in this list. The next setup is set number 75499, and this will be the Siege of Mandalore Battle Pack, which of course we did talk about in the previous video. I'm not going to bang on about it too much. It's one that I am kind of looking forward to. It's only going to have 116 pieces, and it will have two 332nd Troopers and two Super Mandos in there as well. And yeah, really interesting choice. As I spoke about in the previous video, of course, the 332nd at the price tag that it was sort of looking like it was going to be in the summer of 2023 was kind of met with a bit of criticism. It hasn't been the most popular battle pack. The 332nd one, obviously, it's been missing from shelves for a year now. I'll be pleased to see it. It's one that I'll pick up. It's one that I'll probably pick a couple of purely for selling figures on Whatnot. The next setup, set number 75443, and as I spoke about, there's usually always a 4+ set in January wave, certainly over the last couple of years, and that is no exception this year. You've got the Buildable Grogu and Mando. We don't have a piece count for this yet. It will be very low. It is a 4+ set. It'll probably be well under 100 pieces. The Buildable Grogu, I'm interested to see what it looks like in comparison to the actual Grogu that we've had over the last sort of 12 months, the Buildable Grogu that we got at the very start of 2025. I'll be curious to see how it looks and what it looks like. I expect it to be far smaller, but I expect it obviously to be huge pieces in there. It's a 4+ set. It's going to be £25. I'm not entirely sure if it's £20 or £25 at this point. It'll be in that ballpark, but yeah, interesting one to see the images of when we get there, that's for sure. The next setup is one that I spoke about being quite excited about, which is set number 75436, and this is of course the duel between Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane from the book of Boba Fett. We thought there'd be 3 figures. It looks like there's probably only going to be 2 figures in this, and of course that would be Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. I'm curious to see where the other 200 pieces are going to come from, what we're going to see from that, if it's going to be a sort of desert-y kind of duel setup, if it's going to be something that sort of resembles that scene that we got, if it's going to be something to do with the structure of the bar. We've of course already seen the helmet kind of leaked online. I'm obviously not going to show it in this video because I don't need the video to be pulled down, but the leaked helmet image of the Cobb Vanth helmet has already been put out there in the wider space, and you're of course welcome to go and find that on your own accord. It's one that I'm very excited for. It's going to be $30 US. It's going to be £25 as it stands here in the UK for 207 pieces. So again, a bit out with the price per piece, but I imagine it'll be the same size sort of box as you've seen with the £25 Keller and Beck Grogu Bark Speeder Escape this year. Now we get into something a little bit more interesting, which is the mid-scale sets that will be coming out in January. First of all, you've got a mid-scale Venator, which we talked about last time, which is set number 75441, a mid-scale Venator, which is 643 pieces. This will be $80 US. It means it'll probably, at this point, clock in at £70 here in the UK. An exciting one. Interesting, of course, that they went with the Acclimator first and then decided to do the Venator. I think the reaction to the UCS Venator probably meant that they decided eventually they were going to do a Venator in mid-scale form. I really want to see it come back in play scale form at some point, but I'd be very happy to add this mid-scale Venator to the mid-scale collection that we've got on the go at the moment. One that I'll be looking forward to. Maybe I'll get it on the first day. Haven't quite decided yet. We're ultimately 6 months out from that decision. Next up is the 75440 mid-scale 8080, which we had thought was going to be a play scale 8080 that would resemble the 8080 from the Mando and Grogu trailer. It will be a mid-scale version of this particular set. Be really interesting to see what this looks like in mid-scale. Obviously, we had a play scale one a couple of years ago, and of course the UCS version as well. I'm really curious how this sort of sizes up, and we'll touch on the fact, maybe in another video, that I'm not entirely surprised that we are moving more towards these mid-scale ships. I think that the way that price per piece is working at the moment, as well as inflation, and a lot of people sort of dubbing it as shrinkflation, means that mid-scale is kind of more acceptable, sort of panders to the sort of older fans, the AFOLs. Price per piece, you can kind of get away with it looking kind of not that great on the price per piece front, and I could give you examples, of course, of all of the mid-scale ships that we've seen, probably bar the Millennium Falcon. They're all kind of not quite right in the price per piece department. So yeah, not entirely surprised that they're doing more mid-scale. It sort of makes sense in a lot of ways. It'll be really interesting to see what they look like, though. They're yet to, in my opinion, do a pretty bad mid-scale ship. I know a lot of people sort of get hung up on the Tantiv's nose and stuff like that, but I actually think all the mid-scale ships have been pretty good so far. In fact, I ranked them in a video not that long ago. You can go and check that out after this video, because we've only got one more set to talk about for January 2026 that we know of so far, and this is set number 75452, and this is a set that I had a couple of years ago, about 7 years ago. The Buildable BB8 is coming back, and this will only be 569 pieces. And again, this could be an argument for price per piece versus shrinkflation. My sort of assessment of this is probably that they're going to try and uniform it with what you can see behind me, which is of course the Buildable R2 and the C-3PO, and of course Chopper there as well. I think they're just trying to uniform these buildable characters all into one wave, and I imagine it will resemble more so the buildable range that we've seen over the last couple of years, and of course been knocking it out of the park with these buildable droids over the last couple of years. That one is going to be 569 pieces. I put the paper down too quickly there. 569 pieces. It will be $90 US, which 569 pieces for $90, that's a whole different other conversation that I was already talking about with price per piece there. It'll be probably, at the time of recording, £80 here in the UK. That is of course subject to change, as we've seen with Lego pricing and inflation over the last couple of years. That is everything that we know about for January 2026 so far for Lego Star Wars. I, for one, am very excited about how this lineup looks. Could it be a bit more spectacular? We could possibly see a few more sets. It looks as though there's still 2 more sets yet to be confirmed, and of course we spoke about the Vader bust in the previous video. Whether that'll come to fruition, I'm not entirely sure, but it could well be that Vader bust along with a Razor Crest. Could it indeed be a mid-scale Razor Crest after all. I did mention that in a video last summer. Could we see a mid-scale version of the Razor Crest in the future? And of course, with getting a mid-scale Venator and a mid-scale AT-AT. Now, of course, the AT-AT and the Razor Crest were both supposed to be play-scale versions, and now it looks as though we've got an AT-AT that is a mid-scale version. So could it be that the Razor Crest is indeed a mid-scale version to go along with all the other ships that we've seen so far in the mid-scale range, which I covered in a ranking video not that long ago? Go and check that video out. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're excited by any of these sets, if you're going to pick any of them up. I think it's very much subject to price and how things go over the next couple of weeks. Look out for the retirement list video, which will be coming within the next 24 hours on the channel. It may well already be up, so make sure you subscribe, hit that subscribe button, put the bell on, make sure you don't miss anything that comes in this space. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye.